Hi, welcome to our CMT practical class. Some of you have already done the online portion. This is the practical portion which has to be done at the school. And the class is recorded, but you're not going to be in the video unless you choose to be. When we're doing the finger stick, then if you want to volunteer to be in the video while we demonstrate how to check blood sugar, then that's fine. There's no compensation for it. You're volunteering. All right, so if you saw in the video, I talked about MAR, medication administration record. That's your guide as to everything you're going to do. Usually you get a binder like this that will say medication administration record for July or for August. Every month will have its own separate record. And all what you're supposed to do is in here. All what the doctor have ordered to be done for all your residents will be in here. Each resident will have their own page. Ms. Susie will have her own record of medications to be given. Mr. David will have, and other residents. And so I'm not going to go over the MAR. I talked about that already in the video. But just briefly, your orders goes there and you schedule it. The numbers 1 to 31 represents the calendar of that month. So it'll be July 1st to July 31st. If the month ends on the 30th, then it ends on the 30th, and then the next month will start with the first of that month on a new MAR. So this is like your calendar, your diary of the record of giving the resident their medication every day at the time that is scheduled. Okay? But this is about demonstration. I just wanted to go over that briefly. If you can point to, so we're going to talk about some of what we're going to demonstrate. We're going to talk about Enema. That's your laxative that your resident might need to get if they have constipation or they have not gone to the toilet for like 3 days. The order will say to give saline enema 1 bottle by rectum, that's the route, if no bowel movement in 3 days. Or it could be that there's no order and your resident have not come to the toilet in 3 days. You're concerned and you call your charge nurse and say, Ms. Susie have not had a bowel movement in 3 days. Can we give her something for her to go? Your delegating nurse will say, well, give her 1 bottle of enema. All right, then you write the order out, the MAR, and then schedule it. Then you will administer it. Enema, you have to give the whole bottle. You have to make sure the resident is in what position? What's the position to give enema? You should know that your mycin you did your CNA already. Same position is the position for enema. It's on the case. Same position is the left-sided position with the knees flexed. That's the best position to penetrate the rectum well and to deliver the medication. I always advise that you work with your CNA. If there's a CNA you're working with, you have to let him or her know you're about to give the resident the enema so they can be ready and have maybe additional barrier or padding on the bed so that when the delivery comes, it won't be all over the bed, right? So it's already self-lubricated. You're going to put your gloves on. Resident is in the same position. Of course, you're going to let the resident know you're about to give the enema. You're going to insert gently. It's better to kind of pinch the butt a little bit. Otherwise, it might, as you're squeezing in, it's pouring out. So you're going to insert all the way, and then squeeze from the bottom, gently squeeze, 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 squeeze until you empty the whole bottle in there, and then usually take a few minutes, some people might take seconds, and then it will stimulate that area, that large intestine, to now push the feces out. Okay, that's enema. As a CNA, some places don't let you give enema, but as a CNT, you have to give the enema. It's not optional. That's enema. Let me show you like a breathing treatment. Oxygen, just for oxygen. You've seen oxygen cylinder. Sometimes there's a oxygen concentrator, the bigger oxygen container that is stationary in the room. Or sometimes it could be by the cylinder that is hanging behind their wheelchair. They can walk around with it. So the cylinder is already set to deliver maybe 2 liters or 3, but most of the time it's 2. This connects to the cylinder, then this connects to the nostril, and you put it like that, something like this. And but her ear is not going to hold, so it will be like that, and then you're going to adjust it. This goes to the cylinder. You can adjust it for it to fit, but you have to be checking it frequently to make sure that it's still on and the oxygen is still flowing. You can check it, because sometimes you walk around and it's been irritating their ears, and then they have it like this. That means they're not getting oxygen. Or they sneeze into the hole, and it blocks the flow of the oxygen. So you can either rinse it or change the tubing to a new tubing if that's blocked. Alright, so oxygen is pretty easy to do. Since we are on breathing treatments, let's go to nebulizer treatment. I don't have my keep recording. I need to connect extension to connect the machine. So we're going to demonstrate nebulizer treatment next. The small machine like this does not have any setting, it's just on and off. So you're going to plug it. Then you need the nebulizer tubing. It opens up here where you pour the medicine in. The medicine looks like this. Like that. Different brands, but this was albuterol. So your order will say give albuterol by nebulizer, albuterol 3.0 milligram by nebulizer. It also comes in inhaler, where you give them 2 puffs if they are wheezing. It will say give this. Sometimes peer is as needed or is routine. It will say give albuterol 3.0 milligrams by nebulizer for wheezing or difficulty breathing. So they might, when you see them go, sometimes after they smoke or just the wheezing starts, then it's time to give them the treatment. So you'll quickly plug it, open this, have your gloves on, squeeze the medicine in there, all of it, and then close this up and Miss Susie, I'm going to give you a breathing treatment. Or you can say nebulizer treatment. Turn the machine on. It will just blow the air into a mist, medicine, and then she'll be inhaling it, and it will loosen up her chest, lungs, and allow her to breathe better. So that's nebulizer treatment. It's not hard. You just need the machine, plug it, connect the tubing, put the medicine, turn it on. That will run for about 10-15 minutes until it's finished. So you'll be checking, and when it's empty there, then it's time to turn it off. Okay. You have to check, like, if you suspect that somebody is not breathing well, that means their oxygen level is low. What's the ideal oxygen level that will require this treatment? Or, well, what's the normal oxygen level? 96% to 100%. That could be in your GMA exam. Because you have to know these things so that you know to report to the charge nurse or to do something about it if you're the CMT. This is pulse oximeter, which measures oxygen level. So you just stick in your finger, turn it on. Let me check mine. The oxygen level will display on the left side. On the right will be my pulse. My pulse is 64. My oxygen level is 98%. So between 96 to 100 is good. Anything less than 95, they might need to get the nebulizer treatment. All right. You can try it out if you want. Here's white. So that's nebulizer. Next, we will do the G-tube feeding by feeding goes by either pump or by bolus. So bolus is the one where the pump is not being used and you giving the feeding directly into the tube. Usually, let me put on my gloves. Those that get feeding like that because they have difficulty eating or swallowing and their weight is declining, they're not getting enough nutrients, or they have some kind of diagnosis that prevent them from eating anymore by mouth or swallowing or drinking. Nothing can go through the mouth. Sometimes because of lung cancer or a gunshot wound that penetrated the lungs, the throat, and they cannot swallow. So put their medicine, water, food has to go by tube. The tube looks something like this. This is okay. She's saying. So we kind of use a urinary catheter. The tube used looks something like this, inserted directly into the stomach. So all her feeding, water, medicine goes through here. So that's what we're going to demonstrate next. So you'll get an order. Let me start with the bolus feeding. So bolus feeding, bolus or pump. So we're going to do the bolus first, then we're going to do the pump. The order will say, for example, this is JVT 1.5. Give JVT 1.5. In bracket, then I put 250 ml. By bolus, so the only difference will be that it will be by bolus 4 times a day. right? For nutrition. That's how they eat. So this will be like a meal. So once you have it scheduled, let me just kind of do like an MAR here. You have so let's say you have your MAR, then you have your days. Let's just say you have the 1st all the way to the 31st. Let's just say, what's today's date? 24?
25th.
25th. Let's just say 25 is today. This is 26 all the way. Your hours goes here, of course. So your bolus feeding is here, your bolus order. That says give JVD 1.5, 250 ml 4 times a day. And let's assume the schedule is 8 a.m. 4 p.m. Sorry. Let's do 12. Let's do 12 p.m., 4 p.m., and 8 p.m. Then you know that when you're working, whatever is due on your shift, those are your responsibilities to do them that shift on that day. So if you're working on the 25th and you're working, say the 7 to 3 shift, you'll be responsible to give the 8 a.m. dose and the 12 p.m. dose. If you're the one working 3 to 11 shift, then you're responsible to give the 4 p.m. and the 8 p.m. dose on the 25th of July. So when the time comes, you're gonna arrange your supply. Need like a cup of water. And we're just gonna pretend let's just pretend we have water, we have feeding, we have like a larger cup of water. You're gonna need your feeding syringe, and you already have some tissues. So, give me Susie, it's time for your feeding. When you're doing the feeding, whether you're doing feeding and medication, you must always flush the tube first. Do the feeding or the medicine, then flush again. This should always stay open. Otherwise, if you don't flush it, then the milk get thickened in the tube and block it. If it's blocked, it's very hard to unblock. Sometimes they have to go to the hospital to go unblock it. Or you have the particles of medicine that you gave, and it's clogged or blocked, then so you always have to flush it. All right. So you're gonna open your feeding tube. Always put like a barrier on the table. All right. Sometimes it's also a good idea to kind of put like a towel nearby in case you have like drops, so you won't drop on hand, gown. So you're gonna bend this up before you open. If you don't bend, if you open it like this, then the content of the stomach can just be in your face. So bend it, open it, insert the plunger. Then you have your cup of water, you pour in here. Then let the water go by gravity to flush. Okay. If it doesn't go, let's say it's stuck, just gently push it. Push it down gently, then it will go. Alright. When you're taking this out, don't pull it out, otherwise you're going to pull back what you just pushed in. Bend it first. Take this out. Close it. remove this and insert this back. Now you're ready to do your feeding. So this is half feeding. Open it up and just pour in there. Just pour until you pour all of it. Okay. When you finish the feeding, then you flush again with water, like half a cup. And you pour and flush, then the tube is open and clean. Then you're done with that feeding. Okay. When if you're giving medicine, you will, if it's in pills, you will crush the pills, pour in a cup, put a little bit of water, like this much water per pill in a larger cup. Then you would flush, and the same thing that we did after you flush, you've already prepared your medication. Then you just pour the medicine like that in there. Always remember to remind your doctor or your charge nurse to write the order in liquid. You know, almost every medication comes in liquid form also, because it's easy to just measure the liquid here and pour it instead of having to go pound and crush the pills. Alright, so that's how you do the medicine. So the next thing is to show you how to do the feeding by the pump, which will be this order here. Gravity, so this is your feeding. Alright, so like sample feeding through a pump will be something like this. Your order will say Gravity 1.5, give by G-tube. From 4 p.m. to say 2 a.m. for example, or until finished. At the rate of 100 ml per hour to deliver 100 ml per day for nutrition. That's her meal. So the difference here is she's gonna get the whole day's meal in a bottle that will run for 10 hours, for about 10 hours. For some people it's 8 hours, some people it's 12 hours. It depends on the person's weight or what the doctor ordered, the rates per hour. So you need to know how much is she getting per hour, how much is she getting per day. That has to be programmed into the machine. So according to this order here, the rates per hour is 100. The total dose per day is 1000 ml. That will give her a whole day's nutrition need. So what do you need? Of course you need a machine, pole that holds the machine, and then you need your feeding. You need the connection tube that will deliver the feeding from the bottle through the tube, through the machine into the G-tube. So let's program the machine, right? This is where sometimes it gets challenging for some people. We had a student who finished the class, and the next few days, like the following Wednesday, one agency called her to go start a job somewhere in Gettysburg. When she got there, the resident was on. Sometimes they don't tell you what you're going. They just don't go there, because when they're discharging a resident from the hospital, they've called the agency to send somebody to the house. So she got there. There was a machine. There's a G-tube. She's also diabetic. Gets blood sugar check and gets insulin. So she freaked out and called and said she won't be able to handle it. So why not? Just, if you're not sure, or you've forgotten, even if you remember,
but you just want them to show you again to be sure. Just ask the family member to show you how to operate the machine. You know, it's like driving a car. Once you know how to drive one car, you can drive another car, another type of car.
Like I said, you only need to know
to program into the machine. Sometimes it's already programmed from the hospital, or the company that delivered the machine already set it up and program it.
So turn it on and plug it. Okay, it's on. There's a battery that charges
to keep the memory of what has been programmed.
So turn it on. So there are two windows here, two screens here that you need to understand. With one screen is used to set up the
dose per hour.
According to doctor's order, she's supposed to get 100 ml
per hour.
When you turn it on, you can set that. You can increase it, you can decrease it. Let's say it's 80 per hour, 80 ml per hour, and this should be 80. But she's 100, so increase it to 100. Okay. This window you use to set the dose limits per day. So according to her order, she's supposed to get 1,000 per day. When you press it, you can adjust the dose per day. And this can change. She can start out with 1,000 ml per day.
Then the doctor realized that that's not sufficient for her nutritional value according to her weight, and might increase it to 1,200.
Then the day the order changes, you have to come program 1,200 here. That way, we can monitor what she's getting daily. Another reason is, let's say, this comes in 1,500
bottle, but this bottle is 1,000. So in her case, she's getting one bottle per day. But some people might need the one bottle plus another 200, which will have to come from a second bottle. When this one finishes, then you hang another bottle to complete her feeding for the day.
Or you get the bigger bottle that comes in
1,500 ml. So if she's taking 1,200, the machine will automatically stop at 1,000 or 1,200, whatever the dose limit is for, daily dose limit is. So it's better to program it so the machine stops. If that's not programmed, the bottle will keep running and keep running until it empties. So if you have 1,500 bottle, but she's only supposed to get 1,000, then you're going to overfeed her. But the machine will help control it, because once the 1,000 is reached, the machine will stop the feeding. Okay.
So this window also shows you
once you start the feeding, it will show you what she's getting so far. If you start the feeding at 4,
they will start counting. Before you start the feeding, you have to reset. Let's assume 1,000 was here
from yesterday's feeding, which ended at 2 a.m. and she was done from yesterday. The machine stopped. Before you start the next feeding for today, you have to clear what she had before, so the machine can start counting again for today.
So this button helps you do that. Total reset to 0. Now you start a new feeding for today. So now, again, before you start any feeding, you're going to do what? Flush. So let's assume we flush. You're going to get your bottle, get your connection tube. You're going to label the bottle, put the name, room number, if any, the date, start time, the rates per hour. Okay. Then you're going to get the tubing. You have to get a new tubing. I don't have a new tubing, so I'm using the old one that we used from the last class. But this should be new each day. You're going to insert. It will punch a hole into the bottle, and then you screw it tight. So hang it.
Just kind of improvise with that.
Then, when you hang it, let's just assume this is a new tubing, right? So you won't have all this in there. It'll be clear. It'll be clear. You can't just connect it like that. You have to prime the tube, which means let the fitting come out all the way to here before connecting. Otherwise, if you connect it and start the fitting, it will push all that air from here to here into the stomach, and you don't want that. It will give out gas. So you put this on, open it, it will start flowing. It will flow like that all the way. When it gets to about here, then you clamp it to stop the flow. Okay? Then you can connect it.
So connect it, bend, always bend, open, and insert.
Then here, you will put this in the chamber here. Okay.
Pull this around. Just like that, pull it around this way. Bring it up and put it right there. Unclamp it so it will flow.
So that's beeping because he's been waiting for 5 minutes and nothing happened.
So it beeps.
So press hold. So now that we finished the connection, it's just to run the fitting. So you would start the fitting at the time that you're supposed to start the fitting.
So we're assuming it's 4 p.m. for her order. They tend to give the fitting in the evening into the night time, so that in the morning she's done with her fitting for the day. She can go to an appointment or attend activities without having to have the connection, the fitting with her. So we always run it in the night. Alright, so you just turn this on to run the fitting.
So it will start going, it will start flowing. It might not flow because it's sticking. It's showing error because the flow is not going to flow. But usually, it will just keep going and going and going. And every ml that goes through the machine, that will turn to 1, then to 2, to 3. Every hour
that goes by, you should see 100 here, and then 200 the next hour, because her order says that she should have 100 ml per hour.
So let's assume you want to and make sure she's in upright position, whether she's lying in bed, the head of bed needs to come up
like 70 to 90 degrees.
To avoid aspiration. But let's say you want to do medication
Or do something while this is running. Because let's say you start the feeding at 4, but at 8 o'clock she needs to get medication. You're going to put the feeding on hold.
It's on hold now. Disconnect.
You're going to then disconnect the feeding. Close it. You can put this here. There's a hole in the back of the machine to hold that. Or you can just hang it like this. And then give your medicine or flush. Okay, speaking of flush, so there's a different flush for medication, before medication and before feeding. Then you're gonna have a different order for hydration. Because just like you drink, you're supposed to have 8 cups of water per day minimum. there will be a doctor's order for us to give her about 8 cups of water per day. So that's different from the flush. So in between the feeding, you're going to be giving her water. Same way, just get your cup of water, disconnect the feeding, put it on hold, insert, put the plunger on in there, then give her the water. Maybe it's a cup or 2 cups. It will be ordered, and then you have to sign for it that you gave her the water. There are some pumps that have like, they're called kangaroo pumps. They have a bag for water, another bag for feeding that connects into one tube. The machine will, so what you do, that other bag of water, you're going to put water in there. So the machine will automatically deliver the water when the time comes. So that's been programmed into that machine. But, hospitals use those kind of machines a lot. Of course, they are more expensive. A lot of the individual homes use this type of machine. Okay. Any questions so far? No?
I have very smart students.
Show them something one time, they get it. Right? And you're not smiling. No, it's not that serious.
The mask is not showing our head.
The mask is not showing your smiley face.
Alright. So that's the G2. Alright, then the next thing, I'll turn that off. One thing that I wanted to mention about the G2, remember the feeding is going to be interrupted throughout. She needs to be turned, she needs to be cleaned up. Then you have to pause, put the machine on hold, don't turn it off. A lot of times when the machine is turned off to provide care, we tend to forget to turn it back on. And hours go by, she's not getting her feeding. That's why the owner will always say until finished. Because let's say you can't just stop the feeding at 2 a.m. when it's scheduled to stop if the feeding has not finished, because she was interrupted for several times during the time the feeding was on. She didn't get her complete feeding. Then she might be losing weight if she's not getting her complete feeding per day. So the best thing to do is not to turn the machine off to provide care. It's to put it on. So the feeding is on. You want to provide care, put it on hold. The hold will give you 5 minutes to do whatever you need to do. If you need additional 5 minutes, so it will beep when it's 5 minutes, then you press it again to give you another 5 minutes if you're not done. But the putting it on hold serve as a reminder in case you forget. Then the machine will beep that it's not on, so that way you can come back and turn it on. All right. Okay, so we're done with that. So the fun part. Did I tell you we're gonna stick each other to do finger stick? Okay, good. So the resident is diabetic and has an order to check the blood sugar twice a day. And depending on the results, you might need to give insulin. So a sample order will look like this. Normal log insulin. Give 6 minutes. Subcutaneous 2 times daily. If blood sugar is 130 to 400, for diabetes, before meals, before the meals. Okay. So let's
put it on the MAR. You always have to know how to interpret your doctor's order and transfer it correctly to the MAR. Okay. So I think there's a sample like that on the video, right? A sample order like this. Okay, we can turn this off now. So, doctor says to check blood sugar twice a day and give insulin if blood sugar is above 110 to 400. Usually if it's above 400, then you have to call your charge nurse for additional instruction. Alright, so we're going to schedule it twice a day. Doctor didn't give the time, but you have to use your own understanding of before meals to schedule this before breakfast and before dinner. So let's say breakfast is around 7:30, then you can schedule this at 7 a.m. One thing that is always confusing when you're preparing an MAR is what additional information do you need that needs to be documented? If it's a blood pressure medication, you have to be checking blood pressure. You need to put blood pressure there. If it's like a heart rate medication, doctor says to check the pulse. Don't give the medication if the pulse is less than a certain amount. Then you need to put pulse there so that everybody will be checking the pulse. This is a blood sugar medication, blood sugar order that needs to be checked. That means you have to be recording the results of the blood sugar. So you have to put BS here for the blood sugar. There's one more information that is required because this is an injection. You have to record the site of the body that you use to give the injection so that the next person will know not to use that same site. Otherwise, if the site is not recorded, everybody keep giving on the same site, you can kill that arm, or there might not be blood flow to that arm well, or something like that, circulation. So you're gonna put sites there. Alright, so there's only one space left. That's not enough to schedule the next one. So you have to come down to the next section and do the evening dose, which should be, say, 5 p.m. blood sugar site. Alright, so today is 25th. If you got this order right now, the 7 a.m. will start tomorrow. So you're gonna put this like that and do all that to start tomorrow. It's not 5 p.m. yet, so this is gonna start today. So this will go like that. Okay. So when 5 p.m. comes, it's time to carry out this order, right? So you're going to gather your supply. You're going to need for the blood sugar check, you need your blood sugar machine. Different, there are different brands. This is CVS, True Matrix. There's One Touch. They're different, but they all do the same thing. If you know how to use one, you can use the other ones. So you need your machine. Then you need the strip that will collect the blood to test with the machine. So you need the strip. You need to obtain the blood. You need a little lancet, like a little needle, to prick and get a drop of blood. Something like that. There are different kinds of needle. Then you always have to clean the finger where you're going to get the blood with alcohol, or we'll use hand sanitizer. This hand sanitizer has alcohol in it, so we don't. Alcohol is hard to get in the market now, so
So we're going to use that. We're going to use the cotton ball to get the hand sanitizer. Alright, so this is where both of you will now demonstrate. You're going to stick each other. So you're going to turn to them. You come sit at the other end of the table or the opposite side. And you come sit over here. So we'll sit opposite. Okay, so we can bring it and swing it back as well. Okay, so you have your machine. So you use the middle file and then the middle file. You will need the alcohol. Cotton. You will need as a container. That's where all anything blood sharp goes in there. Hold on. Let me give you all what you need first. So you're gonna need a pair of gloves. So who's gonna go first? Doesn't matter who goes first. There's gonna be a returning of the favor. There'll be a return match. So if you stick out too hard, then you know she'll be coming for you. Alright, so you want her to stick you first. Okay. So then you put on your gloves. So when she's done, don't put yours on because she will do it.
No.
Alright. So you need you take it. You will need two. One to wipe the first time, and one to wipe afterwards. So take the strip out. So one thing with the strip, this will be one you're going to use for now. And then so the strip has two ends. One end goes into the machine. The chip end goes into the machine. The other end collects the blood. So when you insert this, like she did, when you insert it turns the machine on. Then once it starts flashing the blood, then it's ready to receive blood. You put it down, wipe the finger, get the little bit. It's better to use. Yeah, it's better to use like a tip. Yeah, the middle finger is fine. Anyone. There we go. It's done. Then the way this needle works, when you open it, you're gonna hold it in hand. Don't just press until there's a click. Press gently down.
Okay, just press here.
No, just press. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
press.
Yeah. Press.
Okay.
If you do that, it's gonna be worse.
Okay.
Just press down. Press down.
Ouch!
It's not yet. Then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Okay, put it down. Get that column. I mean, get the.
Oh.
It's okay. Get on that one. Okay, it's stopped. It's okay. So our sugar is 121.
Is he high?
You're gonna get insulin.
Huh?
You're going to get insulin injection.
Really?
No, just kidding.
Is he
But
high?
according to the order,
Okay.
you will not get anything. She's
Yeah,
supposed to
because
get
it's
from 130. But
400.
everybody's different. Sometimes the doctor will say from 120. It depends on individual. Because for some people, 130, they don't need to get anything. Whereas other people, 120, they need to get insulin. So it depends on the individual. So you would take that off. No, don't take, yeah, take the strip off. Where is the needle? So yeah, so okay, put that in here. And then the rest can just go in the trash can. I'll bring it. So just put everything in one glove, then unfold it. Alright? You can get hers too.
Okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Then, so it's your turn now to return the favor. Right?
Is my blood sugar?
It's fine. You ate before you came?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's fine. Like normal range is like 180. Sorry, 80 to like 120. Yeah, give and take if you, depending on the individual. Yeah, a little bit. On the edge, the side of the finger. Because the middle is too thick to get. That's fine, just let it dry. You that was shaking.
I was shaking.
Why?
I'm scared of infection.
But you let me decide of it.
Yeah, the side.
Press. Press. Press.
You
Press.
don't press.
Press. Press.